everyone, my name is Shelby Hartman. I'm DoubleBlind's co-founder and editor-in-chief, and today we're talking about Pablo Amaringo and ayahuasca art. Before we do, I just want to remind you to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a beat from us. Also, if you didn't know, we have an amazing newsletter. I'm a bias, but I think it's amazing. It's called The Drop-In. It's free. It's every week. It's psychedelic news on politics and drug development and the ethics of corporatizing psychedelic medicines, as well as tips and tricks for going more deeply into your journey with psychedelics. And part of the reason that we put it together and put so much love into it is because we have been facing a lot of censorship on platforms like this one, and we just want to be sure that we can stay connected to all of you beautiful humans, God forbid should these accounts ever get taken away. So if you want to join our community and get that free weekly newsletter, you can do so at the link in the description for this video. I just want to show you, this is a Pablo Amaringo painting. And it's so beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. And this is on the cover of DoubleBlind issue number 4. But Pablo Amaringo was said to basically have a photographic memory. He was an ayahuasquero. And these supposedly are visions that he actually had when he was on ayahuasca. So it's kind of amazing. We did this spread of Pablo Amaringo art in this issue, which actually, unfortunately, this issue is sold out. I think people just love the cover so much that they wanted it. So I'm excited to tell you more about him because he's someone that, if you're a visionary artist, meaning someone that is inspired to paint from your psychedelic experiences, Alex Gray, Amanda Sage, of course, are some of the big names out there, then you've heard of Pablo Amaringo because he was just a total pioneer in this regard. But not everyone has, you know. There's a lot of psychedelic and visionary artists that are really well known and featured a lot at different electronic music festivals and stuff like that. And not everybody knows that a lot of this began with Pablo Amaringo and others from that same region. Let's talk about the meaning of visionary art. The earliest visionary art appears in ancient shamanic art, where rock, bark, and cave paintings, some over 30,000 years old, depict travels into the dream time, the cosmos, and into other worlds. Mystical experiences, altered states of consciousness, psychedelics, entheogens, and plant medicine have all contributed to our rich history of visionary art that has been produced since the Paleolithic era. Visionary artists attempt to reveal the unseen, translate the mystical, and craft dreams, imagination, and entheogenic experiences into physical forms. It is widely accepted that visionary art is inspired by visions experienced by or recounted to artists. Sometimes the only way to describe a psychedelic vision is to create the vision. I often say that the purpose of art is to fill the void when words fail us. Psychedelic dimensions are sometimes called ineffable, which just means there are no words to describe it. And you often hear folks say when they see a piece of ayahuasca art, that's what it was like. In that recognition, the art becomes a manifestation of the medicine for that person. And as such, the art itself is medicine. Artist Marcus Drossel, an Italian-born, formally trained artist who has lived many years in the jungle and makes ayahuasca art, noted, quote, "Ayahuasca art is a form of visionary art, of the unseen realms, and the otherworldly ayahuasca art can be a direct transmission of the experience of the realms encountered with ayahuasca. Making and experiencing art can help validate and integrate the internal visionary experiences that can arise when we drink ayahuasca. Often, we do not have words to describe our experiences, but know there is meaning in the visual images we bring back. And while most of us are not artists, we can view the images produced by artists and recognize familiar landscapes, motifs, repeating imagery, colors, and textures. When language fails us, art becomes the conduit and the connection. When we recognize our experience in the experience of another through art, we know we are part of something bigger than our individual selves, and we often feel our visions are validated and more meaningful. We remember our interconnectedness. Viewing the art can revive and reignite the felt sense, visions, insights, and awarenesses from our ceremonial ayahuasca experience. It's common that the visionary experience emerges in colors, fractals, designs, expansive landscapes, archetypal images. The, quote, language of the soul is not word-bound. It is a beingness that can be communicated in art forms. So let's talk about Pablo Amaringo. The work of late Peruvian artist Pablo Amaringo is many things. Surreal, immersive, hypnotic, just incredible, to be honest. His paintings are a reminder of the magic and healing we can get from the plant world and of our obligation to protect it. Pablo Amaringo was born in 1938 and raised in Pucallpa, Peru, among 13 brothers and sisters in a family of farmers. He first drank ayahuasca when he was 10 years old, going on to become a high-ranking shaman known as a muraya. When he retired from shamanism in 1977, his focus became art. While he had no formal training, Amaringo's paintings were incredibly detailed, candy-colored depictions of the realms he traveled to in his psychedelic journeys. Made using oil and gouache, his images of birds, portals, snakes, and spirits served as the basis for the Amazonian School of Art, a now global tradition depicting the Amazonian rainforest and the traditions of its indigenous peoples. Peter Clousley, a longtime Amazonian plant medicine researcher who, along with shamanic studies expert Howard Charing, wrote the Ayahuasca Visions of Pablo Amaringo, said, Pablo was definitely painting from memory. He said he never painted anything that he hadn't seen for himself in ceremony. Charing and Clousley met Amaringo during their travels to the Amazon, where they became good friends with the artist, whom Charing calls the most beautiful, gentle, and wise person that I have been privileged to know. And we actually partnered with Charing and Clousley on the feature in DoubleBlind. That's how we got access to those incredible images. As Amaringo gained notoriety worldwide, he also founded an art school for children, Usko Ayar, in his native Pucallpa in order to teach an appreciation of nature to young people. His message to students was the same one expressed in his art. Nature possesses the deepest wisdom, and we must protect it. Clousley says, Pablo believed the conscience of each one of us must be the new government. The rest is corrupt. Working in solitude and chanting as he painted, so that, quote, the power and otherworldly beauty of these healing and uplifting Icaro songs is embedded in the actual physical piece of art. Amaringo's global recognition rose steadily after the 1991 publication of Ayahuasca Visions, the religious iconography of a Peruvian shaman, a book of Amaringo's art made in collaboration with anthropologist Luis Eduardo Luna. While his art brought him around the world, Pucallpa was always his home and was where Amaringo passed away in 2009 after a brief illness. I also just want to say Pucallpa more generally is considered to be a hub of the ayahuasca world, and that there are a lot of retreat centers that have popped up in and around Pucallpa in recent years. Pablo Amaringo's spirit lives on. His work, which inspired an entire school of art, can now be seen on yoga mats, coffee mugs, iPhone cases sold online through Fine Art America, and the proceeds go back to his estate to help preserve his legacy. Now selling for upwards of $50,000 per piece, his paintings were also featured in a 2019 Kenzo fashion show in Paris, appearing in such unlikely places to help more people recall the revelatory ideas that we, in fact, already know. As more and more people around the world drink ayahuasca, and as access from within ayahuasca drinking communities in South America grows, we will undoubtedly be graced with more and more art. Ayahuasca art is a manifestation of the medicine, and art itself is medicine. And for now, if you are intrigued or interested in acquiring ayahuasca art, particularly from Indigenous and Peruvian artists, I suggest that whenever possible, you purchase directly from the artist. There are a few places online where you can buy through a broker, but know that they are receiving sizable commissions, and do not be shy to ask about their commission. An honest art dealer should not be concerned with letting you know. And there are so many people that, obviously for decades have been going to South America and purchasing art and jewelry and things like that, and, basically upselling it. But there are also people who are really engaging in this sort of commerce to support indigenous communities and help them to continue to keep their crafts alive. And so just being really mindful of who you're purchasing these things from. Have you had an experience with ayahuasca that was art-worthy? Are you an artist? How does art influence and impact your psychedelic experience and your ability to integrate your psychedelic experiences once they're over? We would love to hear in the comments below. Know that we're a small team, so we don't always reply to every single comment, but we do read them and we really appreciate your engagement and your support. Also, if you're interested in hearing more about psychedelic art, I had what I think was a really fascinating conversation with visionary artists Alex and Allison Gray for DoubleBlind's new podcast, and you can check it out in the banner link or in the description below. If you enjoy videos like this one, like and subscribe for more, and see you next time.